Hey guys, in today's video I'm going to be recording a bunch of violin risers that I am then going to create into a Kontakt instrument for me and for you to use in your sessions. Okay, now here's my little violin, got on eBay many years ago when I was learning to play the violin, and it's kind of a strange Frankenstein of a beast. It's got a very strange shaped body. It's got seemingly odd pegs. The neck, the fingerboard was replaced. It's got a lovely sound though. It's kind of harsh, which I like because you get to hear all the grit of it. But it's also got a nice kind of nasally. It sounds terrible. I'm using all the words that don't sound good. It's harsh and nasal, basically. Which I like, cuts through the mix, sounds great. Well, it sounds awful, but that's the idea with the music I'm making. So here we go, we've got some awful sounding violin risers. Now, obviously when you're thinking about creating a Kontakt instrument, you can just go ahead and record tons of stuff, but it's good to think about what you're going to be doing. Now, the plan I have is to have maybe 2 octaves of rises, and I'm going to record, so that means 24 takes, and I might do another instrument version of it. So what I'll do is 24 takes of trems, so something like this, something like that, each one getting progressively shorter, so that as you go up the keyboard, you could, in theory, it might not work this way, theory, sort of press all 24 keys and all the risers would start and hopefully finish around the same time. I mean, I could probably fiddle it so that it does work like that, but that'd be too much effort on my part and I can't be bothered. So I'm going to be doing that. I quite liked the idea of just sticking on this string. I've actually tuned the violin badly to viola tunings, CGDA, because I like this violin, as I do my cello, when they're tuned lower, because the strings sound wobblier and growlier. It's very nice, I like it. So I'll probably stick to A, but I also would like the idea of fiddling around with the other strings too. So maybe what I'll do is spread it across the keyboard so that you've got sort of maybe 1 octave per string so that would mean I would only have to do sort of 7 rises per string, which might be quite nice. I mean, that would give you a broader range of sounds, I suppose. Okay, so first step we need to take is to record some silence, and I say silence because my old dusty Mac Pro is whirring away in the background, so I'm going to strip those out of the samples in iZotope RX. So let's record a little bit of silence. Seven rises each string, spread across an octave. Nice. I hope. Okay, so I've done the recordings. I did 7 rises on each string, which should give me a 4 octave span of rises once I'm in Kontakt. But the first thing I need to do is to just reduce the noise a little bit, because I'm in a home office. I'm not in like a soundproof, as you can hear the cars going past. I'm not in a soundproof studio. And I've got a little dusty old Mac here whirring away, so I need to chuck this raw file of all the recording elements into RX, where I am going to reduce the noise. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in a touch and I'm going to find the silence. Here we go. Silence. I can find a better area of silence, kind of there. Here we go. No, not that section. I realised why that's completely black, because that's beautifully silent. That was where I merged two files together. Here we go. This is more like it, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to go on to voice denoise, and I'm going to click learn, and I'm now going to select the whole file and process, and it's going to denoise that little section that I learnt the fingerprint of, and take those sort of low hummy bits out of the track. I mean, RX is amazing. It's just amazing. I didn't really listen to it. There might be some artifacts as a result because I didn't double check, and admittedly this is the mistake I made. You know, I recorded 30 seconds of silence. I didn't actually record it in Logic, so woohoo! First mistake of the day. So that it's better if you've got a longer fingerprint, but as you can see, it looks a lot cleaner and tidier. The lovely thing about RX, look at this. Let's move this along, shall we? Yeah, these are the notes that you can see here. They're the frequencies. So you see that the frequencies getting closer and closer together as the harmonics. I mean, look at that. It's like a landscape. You look at it. It's beautiful. Okay, so getting distracted. Done that now. So I'm now going to save this. I'm going to select all and export selection as IF 24-bit. Yep, white noise. Don't touch any of that stuff generally, and export it to. And then I'm going to put NR. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just change it, just tidy it up a little bit. Violin risers NR. Done, and save it. Exporting selection. Now my next step here is to import this into Logic and then start chopping it up, which will be pretty straightforward because they're big files. I mean, if I was working with smaller samples, I would be a lot more accurate with this, but as I'm not going to bother. So there are the original recordings we've got here. I'm still in 96K, by the way. I recorded in 96K to get the best out of the samples, to get a nice high sample rate. Okay, here we go. So I'm just literally going to go to the start of the sample and cut at playhead and erase the other parts. At the end, cut at playhead. Oops. In fact, now I'm just going to use the marquee tool a little bit quicker. Delete. Marquee, where are you? There we go. Marquee mark. Right, and we're going to do this just through the whole selection and just to delete the silence between the notes. I'm going to fast forward this so you don't have to watch it. Okay, there we go. So I've chopped up all of the samples down here, and the next step is I'm going to just double check that they're all getting progressively shorter, which was my kind of aim really. So I might need to just swap a couple around. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to create another audio track just to move them, and then that one. So that one was a bit longer, so there we go. And I'm going to do this for all of the notes, all of the tracks. They all look about right. Maybe this one's a bit longer. Yeah, that's enough. Oh yeah, there we go. See, that one's too long. Just there we go. Put that one. They're about the same. They're about the same. Longer. Oh, see, look at this beastie. This one should definitely be the first one. Then move. Oh, this one's all skew-if, isn't it? There we go. Let's put that there. And this here, and this here. There we go. Now all of the files are kind of in the right length, and I'm just going to add a fade in to the start and a fade out, just so we don't get any clicking and clacking, etc. Quickly save. Okay, now I'm going to go through the painstaking process of naming them. Now, if anyone can tell me a faster way to do this, please let me know. Now, I'm going to start here. I'm going to fart here. Awkward. I'm going to start here. And I'm going to be naming mine according to the strings. So I start on C2, I believe. Yeah, C2. So I'm going to name them C2, D2, E2, F, and go up through the C major scale. So by the time I'm up here, this will be C3, this will be C4, and this will be C5. Admittedly, they're not actually those notes. but it gives us some progression that I can stick to on the keyboard. So I'm just going to call this, let's put caps lock on, C2, and then move it C3, oh no, sorry, D2, and so on and so forth. Okay, so there we go. Everything is named. So I've got C through C2 up through to B5. And now I just need to export all of these. So I'm going to simply export 28 regions as audio files. I love this feature. It's very, very helpful. And now what I can do here is, so we have custom and region name. So this is the great thing about Logic. You can have a naming convention when you export regions. So the region name we will keep because that's the C2, D2, etc. Custom, I'm going to call this violin rises, and then an underscore, so that we then have, so you see here file name example, violin rises underscore C2, and I'm going to create a folder for this. There we go. Waveform, yes, I'll keep it that. 24, overload protection, let's leave it off, and export. And there we go, we'll go through each sample and create the files for Kontakt. It's very cool. Okay, so here we are in our Kontakt instance. Now the plan here is to pretty much just drag and drop the samples and see what they sound like. So let's see how that works. So I'm going to load up instance of Finder. Here are all my samples selected. I'm going to drag them into Kontakt. Hello Duet. And minimize you. There we go. Okay, so if you click on the little spanner, it opens up the back end of Kontakt. A beautiful thing. So I'm going to click onto the mapping editor, and it's there we go. Here we have all of our samples just automatically spread across the keyboard. So you can hear them there. Nice, sound pretty good to me. However, they're not in the right place. So I'm going to select all zones, and I'm going to go down here to Automat Map Setup. So here we go. This is where the file naming convention becomes important. It's called violin risers and then A2. So we're going to ignore, and then here set to a single key and click apply, and then close. There we go. So now you can see they're all spread across, but you can see the root notes are all set to C3, which isn't great. So let's select all zones, right click, batch tools, and move root key to center. So there we go. So that's now C2, D2, E through F2. So now everything is in the right place. So if I play a chord, I get some cool sounds. Hooray! Now I'm just going to do one more little trick, and I'm going to select all zones, and I'm going to right click and go to Auto Map Functions, and I'm going to go to Auto Spread Key Ranges via root keys. Boom, and it spreads them. So now every note on the keyboard essentially has a riser. Okay, so one thing I don't really like those silly comical spread really super high notes samples. So I'm actually going to deselect that, and this one here kind of sounds cool, but it doesn't sound that great. So I'm actually going to keep this down here like this. So we have our risers. Yeah. Right, now I'm not going to do anything snazzy with this bit here, as in, like, I'm not going to start getting crazy with Kontakt scripting, because, you know, I can't get crazy with it. So I'm just going to do a couple of things I can here. So the first port of call is this. So if I play a note, when I release the key, it doesn't die off immediately, which is what I would like with a riser. So there we go. I just went into the release here and just dropped it down to 0 milliseconds. We've got a nice fast attack. Great stuff. Now the other thing I would like to do is add an effect, because at the moment they're quite quiet. I forgot to normalize them. So I'm just going to go to effects, a limiter, so I can just basically just put some more gain on it. So input gain. Okay, so the next step is I just need to save this instrument. So if I go to save as, and I'm going to save it into my sample libraries section where I've got my own sample libraries, Schreiber samples. So let's just call it new folder and violin risers. There you go, create name of folder. Delete, there we go, violin risers. And so this will save the patch and the samples there. Save. There we go, and done. Okay, so now my next step is to make this look a little bit prettier, basically, because at the moment it's functioning how I want it to, which is great, but I do, however, want it to be have a nice skin, basically. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the spanner and open up instrument options, and I'm going to click down here to resource container. I'm going to click on create. I'm going to go down into my music sample libraries, Schreiber samples, there we are, violin risers, and I'm going to click on save it as resources. I will replace that one. Okay, and there we go. So the thing I notice, I don't have any wallpaper, so I'm going to select the wallpaper, and I'm going to select this one here, which I've saved already. I just took a picture of my violin, basically. It had to be a width of 630, otherwise it's going to sort of only be a tiny detail of it. And then I'm going to click on close. So if I click on the spanner, you'll see there's some picture behind it, but we need to just go into the script editor to basically make sure we can see the picture a little bit more. I'm going to go here, I am by no means a scripting nerd at all, or even a scripting I don't know what the word is. Someone who knows script. I'm not that person. I know a little bit. So here we go. So the first thing you type in is on init, which as far as I'm aware means on initialization when you load up Kontakt. Tab, I'm going to make perf view, which means make performance view, and then end on. So I'm going to click apply. If I've made a mistake, it will tell me. I haven't made a mistake. There we go. So it's made it like this small height automatically. So I just need to change the height a little bit. So I'm going to go underneath here, make performance view, press tab, and I'm going to put set underscore UI, user interface underscore height, brackets, let's call it 4. Which is like a block unit. So those little knobs you get on Kontakt instruments, that's a block. I could do it in pixels, but I'm going to just do it as the blocks. It's easier. I spelled height wrong. Classic. There we go. And there is our violin riser with its lovely user interface, which you can now download and use in your projects. I'm just going to do one more thing first. I'm going to save as violin risers, save and replace, which unfortunately you have to do every time. There we go. Now guys, the way to get hold of this is to head on over to thetrailermusicschool.com and sign up to the free membership basically means that you get access to the community and some of the free libraries, and you'll get a small discount on any of the courses when you sign up too. I do hope you enjoy this. If you like the video, click like and subscribe to the channel, and yeah, take care guys.